Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today we are joined by two very special return guests for just an all-out classic film, really. It's a film that, since its release, has really become a modern classic, I'd say. There's not many people who don't like this film. I think, in a way, when I ask people their favourite films, I usually get Shawshank or Truman Show. I've lots of people say Truman Show. You're making that face, Becky, but in my private circles, I think it's just.
I think it's a good film, but it's not like anyone's best film. It shouldn't be, in my opinion.
Okay.
Film.
It was in your top 10 at one point, wasn't it, Tom?
It was in my top 10 for a long.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't in my top 3. It was. Yeah. Sort it out. It was always number 10, and I don't know why it got kicked off, because watching it again this. It's not this morning, that's a lie. 2 mornings back or whatever. I knew every beat. I must have watched this film an obnoxious amount of I know I did. I watched this film an obnoxious amount of times as a child, because I remember my DVD busting and having to buy another DVD just on repeat. And so I knew every single, almost some of the camera changes. I was like, oh, it's going to cut to the dashboard camera.
Comments are still headed.
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else is. Coming to you now from the largest studio ever constructed, it's The Truman Show!
Yeah!
Good morning!
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
What if?
No scripts, no cue cards.
Morning, Spencer. How's it going?
What if you were watched every moment of your life?
How many cameras you got there in that town?
5,000.
I believe Truman is the first child to have been legally adopted by a corporation.
That's correct.
Brilliant.
What if everyone you knew was pretending?
Hi, honey. Look what I got at the checkout. Dishwasher safe.
That's amazing.
What if your world was make-believe?
Cue the sun. While the world he inhabits is counterfeit.
I'm not allowed to talk to you.
That's how I look. Not your type. There's nothing fake about Truman himself.
And I may have to do a reshuffle. I'm not going to, but I may take a long, hard look at myself. Nathan Sloan, what's your relationship with The Truman Show, with Truman Burbank?
I only watched this for the first time during lockdown round 1.
Yes.
I'd not really even heard of it much until then. I don't know why. But yeah, my sister said, give it a watch, and I watched it and I very much enjoyed it. It was a very good film.
What if you didn't know it? Until now.
A lot of strange things have been happening.
Stand by ring cam.
Is he looking at us?
Does he think he knows?
I think I'm mixed up in something big.
We accept the reality with which we're presented.
Everybody's pretending, Truman. Get out of here. Come and find me. Truman?
Anything happen?
No.
Mm-hmm.
You may find yourself in another part of the world.
Feels like the whole world revolves around me. Everybody seems to be in on it.
I'm going away for a while.
You may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. You may ask yourself, how did I get here?
I'm not in on it, Truman, because the last thing that I would ever do is lie to you.
Fade up music. That's our hero shot.
He's gone.
Okay? Yes!
Want to do it again? No!
Find him. Truman, where are you going?
You can do it.
How do we stop him?
Give me some lightning.
Is that the best you can do?
Cut transmission!
I like your pen. I was wondering that myself.
Jim Carrey. The Truman Show. Watch what happens.
Becky, what was your introduction to Peter Weir's 1998 classic film, Truman Show?
I don't know when I first watched it. It would have been in the last 6 years or so, and that's just because I didn't get into actually okay movies until about 6 years ago. But I've definitely watched it a number of times since, and it's a classic. I think it's very good. Rewatching it and specifically trying to pick out points to discuss on the podcast, there weren't as many as like for other films that I've watched and contributed to the podcast for. So I don't know what that means for me as to whether, I don't know, it would never be a top 10 film, but it's a good film.
Certainly not about time. Will, do you remember your introduction to The Truman Show? Will's frozen. Okay, so let's go for YouTube comments. The largest studio ever constructed. What if the Earth is the largest Hollywood studio ever constructed? What if we live in a fake life? Will's back. Will, do you remember your introduction to The Truman Show?
No,
Will's
he's
frozen.
gone again.
I thought like, Will's back. Will, do you remember your introduction to The Truman Show?
And I'm Will Leggetter. I think I watched from a young age. Probably my father, because he's very anti Jim Carrey, and he was like, I do like this one though. I was like, good choice.
I did have this in Tom's big question, but I think I'm going to bump it up and we're going to make this our opening conversation. Is this Jim Carrey's best?
Yes.
So yes.
What are some other Jim Carrey films?
The Mask, The Grin, the Ace Ventura movies.
Grinch is a good one.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I've not seen that yet, but it's on my list. I feel like I've not seen that many, but when he does like comedy stuff, it tends to be the kind of comedy that I'm a bit like, not
Liar, Liar.
I'm a big Liar Liar guy. I love Liar Liar.
I like Liar Liar too. I think Liar Liar is the best.
With Zoe Deschanel. Yes Man's great.
I think Liar Liar is the best distillation of his wackiness, shall we say.
Yes.
Because you would be wacky if you were Oh, Evan Almighty. Bruce Almighty.
Oh, yeah.
And Cable Guy.
He sneaks up on you, this Jim Carrey. He sneaks up on you. Anchorman 2, he was in the final fight of that.
Yes.
Where
Canadian.
are we? Why am I typing in the Jim Carrey? I'm a big Mask guy. Mask was a big one for me as a kid. I very much enjoyed the Mask. A movie you mentioned the other day, Will, Your Christmas Carol.
Yes, Will's Christmas Carol.
What else we got here? Dumb and Dumber. Batman
I've not
Forever.
seen most of these.
The Truman Show. Man on the Moon's arguably great. Well, no. It's great, but it maybe is better dramatic work. But I think this is a bit more.
That's the one that sent him wappy, wasn't it?
This was the one where where he pretended to be Bruce, completely Andy Kaufman, to extreme lengths. Me, Myself and Irene, great comedy from the makers of There's Something About Mary.
I Love You, Philip Morris.
Very good film. Very underrated
good film. I think I watched it in high school. I was clicking around. Oh, that looks all right. It's very good.
One of the great. Well, it's not the opening line, but a very good reveal line, shall we say? The Majestic, a very underrated film in Frank Darabont's canon. After Green Mile, after Shawshank, he makes The Majestic, which everybody forgets about now because I guess it's a bit corny, but I like it. A series of unfortunate events. Everybody's forgotten about that because of the TV show, but I arguably think that the film is infinitely better.
It's wonderful, especially the bit where he does it's the dinosaur.
A TV show so much better. So much better.
Really loses its way. But we're not talking
so
about
did the books. So did the books.
I like the books.
Which is, I think, why the film works. Because it cuts the fat. And you have a nice trim hour 40. We've talked about this a lot, that the amount of Netflix series that I just wished were nice 2-hour films instead of making me sit for 8 fucking hours. And at the end of every episode, oh my God, there's a cliffhanger. You only have
a good TV series.
I love a good TV series, Becky. The key words. There is a key word in that sentence. Good. back to YouTube comments. I thought like this at one point in my life. Probably the drugs. I would love to see a prequel series on Netflix. That sounds terrible. What would it consist of?
Just the rest of Truman's life.
I guess you couldn't do Truman's life because that wouldn't be interesting. That would just be literally a normal
I'd like to
life.
follow Ed Harris and how he came up with the idea sort of what sparked him in his life to come up with this concept.
And the intricate work, and we can have little subplots and see how the town works. Because for me, that's some of the best parts of the film is those little bits where we get to see the inner workings, first positions, and they're all stood there waiting. That's that sort of stuff. So I could get into it, but it'd have to, and then Truman's just a background character. And like, we never actually, and they only reuse footage from the original film. And like they just get a Jim Carrey lookalike, and he's just walking through the background of stuff. We never actually am with Truman again. I think you could go for that angle, but also just don't bother. Write something new. Write something new, you say? I do believe in our little show that it is best 10-minute stretch. Let's go to Becky. You're the first on my screen, and you're the first in my heart. Becky, your 10-minute stretches.
So I think the clear winner is the end in the water, and where he's like coming to the realization that it's all like fake and everything. But I do also enjoy just the whole sequence with Lauren slash Sylvia. When he like falls for her, and then like they meet in the library, and she's like, "I can't talk to you." Yeah, I like that one too. But
Natasha, how do you say it? Natasha Michelone. She's Irish. Oh no, she's not Irish. She's from London. She just played an Irish person in Ronin. Because I thought she was actually Irish, because there is a line in this where she goes, "Please God," and she sounds vaguely Irish. So I thought she actually was Irish. Anyway, it's a long story. It's not that long. Natasha Michelone's lovely in this film. She really makes a stamp in that little 10 minutes that makes you remember her so fondly and in a way love her as much as Truman.
It's done in a very clever way to make you think, oh yeah, I can see why it sticks on Truman's mind throughout basically his entire life.
Even if we get the weird introduction to her with his serial killer collage of a woman's face.
Yes.
And he sniffs the jumper. Bit Buffalo Billy. So Becky, you've gone for the flashbacks and boat / end. Nathan, have you got anything to add?
The bit where he's sort of trying to escape, that is quite a good bit. And everyone's trying to stop him, kind of thing. It's quite an enjoyable sequence.
When he crawls out.
Yeah.
I'd agree that car sequence.
It's
a great 7-minute stretch.
Yes. Will, have you got anything?
Other than that, I'd probably say like sort of introducing us into the concept. So when he's like walking to work and they're like, "Oh, quickly, what's that?" And then we introduce that makeup room that quickly needs to go. And then when he walks around the door, he goes in and out and in and out. It's all very cool. I like it.
Yeah, I've got the first 10. That sort of introduction into the world, especially that meteor-esque falling lights that propels us through this story. The flashbacks to Sylvia, that really just very good economic screenwriting and acting and directing, really just to give us a little love story that propels us through. And then we're back to Laura Linney, who, even as a child, I was like, give this woman every Oscar in the world. This is one of my formative performances, and I don't know why. I just remember watching this movie and watching Laura Linney as Meryl and going, how good is she? She's great. And specifically the I tried to look happy. I have used that in more awkward situations. If there's an awkward argument happening I'll just go grab something and go, why don't I try this one? Cool drink. I've tried other coffees and they're just not as good.
The ads have got to be one of my favourite bits about this film. Just like whenever there's like, maybe you should get a new one. And it's like, there's just a sudden switch.
Arguably the best part of Love Actually. The best story.
Is
her.
Oh, Laura Linney. What's her story again?
She's got a poorly brother, is it? And she really fancies the guy at work, and it just can't be because she's always got to be caring for her brother.
I need to rewatch Love Actually.
No, you don't.
It's been a while.
It's Christmas soon, guys.
Is it the best? Is it the best section in Love Actually? The best? I hate Love Actually, and even it's the Emma Thompson one, surely. The Emma Thompson one is famously the only one
when she gets
okay.
Sad.
I look at clouds from both sides now. It's just a great switcheroo. But as we found on our Heartburn episode, Mike Nichols, Nora Ephron did it first. Meryl did it first. So you're not that good, Richard. Literally in 1984, somebody did that twist. So it's a good job that film's underrated and your little shit thing. I don't know why I'm attacking Richard Curtis. No. I like half of Fallen is in a Funeral and all of Blackadder. What else have we got here? The car ride. Somebody stop me! I'm being spontaneous. We've lost Nathan. He'll be back momentarily.
The internet's doing well today.
The internet is just a wonderful thing. That incredible car ride. Let's go to Nevada, Atlantic City.
The one where they're trying to get out, yeah.
The bridge. Drive. And culminating in that incredible nuclear power plant. And I'm going to ruin one of my specific favourite parts, but you're welcome, Truman. And then just that flash. Just such a pitch perfect note. Incredible stuff.
Very well written.
It's very well written. Andrew Nichols, who we yet to mention, is sort of, people like to call him the wunderkind of this film. It is big first screenplay, just this incredible, just an incredible idea, basically. I mean, it's been touched on a little bit before in other projects, but not to this extent and not in the screenplay. And as we're going to talk about later in Big Question and Fun Facts, this really wasn't the way the script was to begin with. Very different beasts, and we'll get to that later. And then, go on.
I had a comment that I said to my mum after we watched this together, that I was like, I can imagine that someone in this production thought, can we do this? And then they were like, no, that's not ethical. We can't do that. But we can make a film about it.
Oh, right. Well, this is the thing, isn't it?
Someone at some point has considered it and gone, no, we really can't do that.
Well, no, this is in 1998. This is a sci-fi film. In 2020, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean,
I'm a Celebrity.
Reality TV. Just because they're not in a fake town doesn't. The only difference is that they're not an adopted child and it's not been from birth. But we watched these shows over and over and over. That's all they talked about on the special features. Ed Harris, Carrey, Linney, Peter Weir, Andrew Nichols, all they talked about was, a few of them said the film doesn't really work now because it's not a future film. I completely disagree. I think it works.
It's still, I think the concept of taking a child that is motherless and essentially forcing them into this fake life, I think that's the bit that's like, yeah.
I just remembered something. I wrote an essay on this in high school. I should have found it. I don't think I would be able to find it, but I wrote a whole thing about Truman Show and Big Brother. And
well done.
Apparently it was quite
I just comment on the fact that you both use high school, and I find it really weird because to me that's a very American term.
No one had ever used the term secondary school until I came to uni. It's primary. It's junior school,
academy. Well,
primary school.
Was yours an academy? Well,
I was Crofton Academy, but it was a high school.
Yeah, no. I'll say academy. Because it used to be Ossett High School. It literally used to be Ossett High School. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kettlethorpe High School.
Yeah. Thornhill Academy, Thornhill High School.
We've got like Woking High, Guildford High, all sorts of ones in Surrey.
I'd argue
they're
if
not
it's got
high
something
schools.
high,
They're called
that's
secondary
more
schools.
American.
Yeah, Summer Heights High, Annabelle died. Nathan, why don't you pitch in on this debate? What did you call, we're not going to give you anything, what did you call your period of teaching and education in between primary and college?
I'm sure it's probably going to be the same as Becky, but secondary school.
Oh, eat shit, Nathan. How can I kick
Because
you?
that's what everyone calls it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit different because my school had like the primary school and the secondary school, so they called it the junior school and the senior school. So I interchange like junior and primary and senior and secondary.
Well,
but high school, no.
We had Ossett sixth form college, but obviously I went to Pontefract because I wanted to get out of Ossett.
Yeah. Oh,
Moved
new
to
college,
Pontefract.
was great.
The Brad
because I had to adapt like listening to people saying, "Oh, upper six, lower six." I'm thinking, what's that?
They sound like yoga
Just got to college, year 13, year 12. That's what it is.
Exactly.
I definitely, well, I mean, because the sixth form was part of my school, and we also had weird years. It was like year 7 was first year, year 11 was 5th year. So like it would go first year, second year, third year, through to like lower 6th, upper 6th. So that just made sense.
Back to the
final
10 yes. Our 10-minute stretches culminating in obviously that incredible boat sequence. I split it, but we'll just talk about it all together. That incredible boat sequence and that incredible end. You're thinking the man's going to die. You think, is this going to be the world's most depressing end to a movie? Because it is so, I've got it in best line. You can't kill a man on live TV. He was born on live TV. I don't see Christoph's point of view, but I do see his point of view. I'd like to see what the court trial would have been if Truman had died. What do you think? Manslaughter? Do you think Paul Giamatti is there?
Yeah, I think if he had died in that way, it would definitely have not gone down well. Like, I think his point stands that, like, if he was born on live TV, that, like, his dying moments would be caught on TV.
Still
but
murder.
The fact that it was caused by them was not okay.
I think Paul Giamatti is okay because Ed Harris, like, knocks him out of the way and zooms it up. Poor Paul Giamatti. We're going to get to that in specific favourite parts.
I'm the Rhino.
I am the Rhino.
Let me get you some help, Truman. You're not well.
Why do you want to have a baby with me? You can't stand me.
That's not true. Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I've tasted other cocos. This is the best.
What the hell does this have to do with anything? Tell me what's happening!
Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
Roman!
Meryl!
You are scaring me!
No, you're scaring me, Meryl. What are you gonna do? Dice me? Slice me or peel me? There's so many choices!
No! Do something!
Paul Giamatti, the Rhino, and every, like, white guy music recording artist.
Crazy university lecturer.
He's either a crazy university lecturer. He's either the white guy in the studio who's like, Ray, this beat's too funky. He's like that in Ray. He's the same character in Private Parts, and he's the same character in Straight Outta Compton. He just plays the white guy who's like, do you think people will listen to this? And then he goes, God, you guys were right. Tom's really specific favourite parts of the film. All of the hidden cameras, all of those incredible hidden cameras. I'm sure we've all seen the Twitter chain and the Facebook chain of 100 things you missed in the Truman Show. And I'm being facetious, but this film really is so exact. And all the little cameras, you could watch it 100 times and you'd still notice things. Still, all the incredible leaflets, the incredible newspaper headlines, Europe, it's no good or whatever. Who needs Europe? And dog fancy and what's the one the guy shows him? He's like, "Hey Truman, did you see this? Sea Haven, best place in the world, voted 10th year in a row." Just those incredible little details that really make it feel like a real world rather than science fiction. The twins pushing him against the chicken logo. The first cut to the guards, where they're like, you never see anything. They just fade to black and they play piano. You never actually see anything. You get it. I think you should get one of those new rotaries. I guess it's a bit on the nose, but when he's a clown in his little cage, in the baby pictures where he's in his cot and he's in a cage, it's very on the nose, but also it slides by quick enough that it's okay. The very small Mount Rushmore looks smaller than, well, they're always using pictures. All of the agency posters, specifically, this could happen to you. You're welcome, Truman. Arguably my favorite part in the entire film is the Christoph reveal when he's talking on the pier with his friend. What's his bloody friend called? Marlon, that's it. When he's talking with Marlon and Truman, if everybody's in on it, and then we cut to Christoph, then I must be in on it too. But I must be in on it too. I would never lie to you. I would never lie to you. That, for me, also, that's a shift. We're now moving into the darkest reality of Truman's life, because he's been a bit wacky in the first half, but from that point on, it really is. It's a bit like Shawshank, really. Like, he's got those 20 minutes where he's decided he's going to escape, and nobody knows whether he's going to kill himself or escape. That's the same sort of thing that you get with the 20 minutes here. And how are you going to explain that the 20-year disappearance? Amnesia. Brilliant. Cut transmission. Just a real goosebump moment. He's not there. Cut transmission. We're going to cut transmission. Real goosebump moment. Back to Paul Giamatti. That incredible. He's got tears in his eyes, and he conveys so much in the one line of he's going to drown and he doesn't care. And it really, really gets a nice dynamic between him and Christoph. Hitting the wall and guards at the end. Do you want to see what else is on? Let's grab the TV guide. Will, have you got any more general favourite parts?
You've covered a lot of my stuff, but just to add another thing, the guy in the bath.
What's his deal?
He's like you.
Never leaves the bath.
I do like a long good bath, but also my baths would be famously in Philadelphia because of the time check, because of the time zones. I would call Will from Philadelphia, and he'd be like in bed, and it'd be like the middle of the day, and I'd be having a bath. Because like my timetable, I would have long stretches of the day where it's like nothing to do, and I was like, I'll have a nice bath because I wasn't paying my water bill.
I know this guy enjoys his bath, but he's doing exactly the thing that I hate about baths. I mean, I love a bath. No, the fact that after 20 minutes, it's cold. And you're just laying in cold water.
Well, that's why you've got to.
You're running really cold baths then, Will.
Yeah. Boiling.
I run a good bath. It's a good bath when it takes you 10 minutes to get in, because you have to put one limb in at a time and slowly lower yourself.
And then you can only spend like 10 minutes in the bath because it's like too hot and you overheat, and then you get out and you're like, ugh.
It's lovely stuff. I love a bath. But he's really going for it. To say he's living on his own, he's really going for it. When he's pulling himself, let's be honest, we nearly see his full-blown penis when he's pulling himself out, I looked, I guess.
Most positive TV.
Basic Instinct, number 1. Number 2, penis bad guy in the Truman Show. It's them, and then it's the Teen Wolf guy who's in the crowd at the end, whose trousers are unzipped. We did it. When are we doing Teen Wolf? Good film. That was another one as a real rewatch movie as a kid. There's a scene in Teen Wolf where one of my all-time crushes as a child, she basically wants to have sex with the wolf. And like, so he goes into the theatre, he goes in and he's in the play with her. And then my mum was like, is that why you want to do theatre? I think I've told this story on the podcast before.
Probably.
It's a real formative moment. That's probably my ground zero. That's where things started. Will, have you got any more general favourite parts of the film, or are we throwing it to our guests?
I'll throw it to the guests. I'll be polite.
Nathaniel.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of them have been covered. I still think the best moment, I agree with Becky, is the bit at the end. But even that bit to the continuation at the end, like the bit you were saying about the guards, where they're saying, you know, what else should we watch, kind of thing, is very subtly good. Just any of the bits with the guards.
Leave them in the car.
When they like bat off the guy at the back.
I should have put this in Tom's big question. Who's our favourite cutaway people? Because I like the Truman
I like the
bar.
restaurant people.
Yeah, the Truman bar looks really cool.
Oh yeah,
it does.
So
also, they never do their jobs. They're constantly staring at this TV show.
And here's what and I think it's a really, really key choice, because they keep showing all of these people whose lives are just watching this show. They have nothing else. And I think the ending could be really dark if Truman leaves and everyone's like booing or whatever. And they're like, oh, you know, what we're going to do now? Well, no, the guards do say what we do now.
I was like, they move on so quickly. When I finish a TV series, I'm like, what am I going to do now? And I have like an existential crisis.
Yep.
Like the guards going, go Truman, yeah, go on Truman, and the bar erupting, and the two old women crying.
I guess it's the thought of, will Truman come into real life then? Because then they might actually get to meet him.
Well, we'll get to that in Tom's
Maybe he'll do
question.
like a tour or something.
We'll get to this in Tom's big question, because this is the prevailing question of the film. Okay. What the fuck is Truman Burbank's life? Like, we're going to dissect it. We're gonna count how many years it takes for him to just give in. Becky, any more specific little favourite parts for a film so specific?
You mentioned the camera angles, but yeah, just the way that it's done like a TV show, I find it's very clever. There's a really specific bit when Truman's boss does like that and then walks off, and I just really enjoyed it. All the advert segments where they're like, yeah, you should buy this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what are you doing? The rain that moves to follow him.
Yeah.
It's just a little, that bit, and then it suddenly pours. Great. The fact it's often classical music in the background just adds something. In fact, the soundtrack in general is pretty good. And then my final point was just that Truman's scared of water, and I just wanted to say, I feel that. I'm not big on deep water.
I love it. I have talked many a time how that my greatest moments of my greatest moments of transcendence and feeling one and feeling true inner peace have been in warm seas and waters, and just you have no control. You are floating.
That's the scary bit. You have no control.
My weirdest thing about the water is like, I don't like touching man-made things underwater. It's really specific.
Okay.
But like, if you're near a pier, it's getting me like, oh.
Why are you touching? Why are you touching that? That's disgusting, Becky. Nobody's making you touch it.
Or like, if I don't know. I've been swimming sometimes where you're like, you go out on this little like wooden thing and then you like climb down some stairs and then you jump in. Just like, touching it underwater, being near it, it freaks me out. I don't know why. Or even like a buoy with the chain that goes down. Nope.
Don't touch it. Why are you touching buoys?
It's not even touching it. It's the thought of touching it. Like, I can't.
I sound like a mother. I sound like your mother. Why are you touching buoys?
Stop. Have you seen Lilo and Stitch? When it's like, stop touching me. I'm not touching you. If you haven't seen Lilo and Stitch, oh my god.
I mean, I have, but I don't remember that bit.
Oh, it was like a major joke between me and my brother when we were younger.
Me and my sister's major joke was a Glee reference where we would quote all the time, "Don't ask me how my brother died." And I guess that's a very dark reference, but we would do it a lot. Don't ask me how my brother died. If anybody asked you like something, you would go, "Don't ask me how my brother died." Very dark, very dark. Soundtrack corner. I believe, Becky, Nathan, this is your first time on? No. Becky was on Pulp Fiction.
I've been in a couple now.
Nathan, this is your first time on Soundtrack corner. This is a tough one because it's purely score. So this is a score by Burkhard Dalwitz, who was hired by Peter Weir. However, it does include 4 tracks by Philip Glass from other films that he had done. And for me, they're my favourites. Specifically, Living Waters, just an incredible piece of music.
My nomination is Truman Sleeps.
Beautiful.
Which I play on the piano.
That's another great Christoph moment. And swell. Ed Harris, we'll get to this. We'll get to this next, but the only acting nomination. We're going to talk about that. Becky, do you have any particular nomination for Soundtrack corner?
I just enjoyed it throughout. I didn't really pick any specific bit out. I just enjoyed. There were certain moments definitely that I noticed it more than others, because you just, in this kind of film, it's not always the kind of film to have a classical score. You almost expect sometimes some like upbeat kind of pop music or something.
Well, we do get the hillbilly cover of 20th Century Boy when they're bopping.
Can I help? Oh, yeah. I have an appointment at Gable Enterprises.
They went bust.
What's happening? Nothing. Just tell me what's happening.
Drop the brochure. We're remodeling.
No, you're not. What are those people doing? It's none of our business. It's none of your business. You don't tell me what's happening, I'll report you! Well, you're trespassing.
And then the track called Opening, when he's at the door. We'll all know this from coming to many Tom's Brothers quiz nights. This is usually the
final warning.
Yeah, it is final warning. When you hear Opening from Truman Show, you have a minute and a half. And usually people don't know what that means. They think I'm talking Arabic. And they just have no idea what I'm saying. So it's Oscar travesty time. Let's go to the little year of 1998. A rather tumultuous year, really, because this is the Weinstein. This is where it all kicks off for Weinstein. Big time, really, because everybody thinks it's going to be Saving Private Ryan, but no. Weinstein does one of his first big Oscar campaigns and gets Shakespeare in Love to win Best Picture. Spielberg still gets Best Director, but Shakespeare in Love wins Best Picture. I don't know if you can see this yet. I don't know why it's being slow. The Oscar nominations for Best Picture are Shakespeare in Love, Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, Saving Private.
I should, probably, because this is my show. Oh, no.
Hello again.
Hello, Tom.
And can you now see the Oscars?
I cannot.
No. Good for you, though.
Yeah, you're working again.
Can you see
It says
this?
Thomas Carruthers.
Oh,
there we go.
Ah,
Okay. Can you see the Oscars now?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Best Picture: Shakespeare in Love, Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, Saving Private Ryan, The Thin Red Line. Let's get Truman Show in there and let's get rid of. I'm going to say it.
No.
This might be the first time we get rid of the winner.
Oh, I would. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to get rid of Elizabeth. I love Elizabeth.
I love Kate Blanchett.
He's very.
In
I just
Elizabeth.
love historical.
Yes.
I say that. Don't like Shakespeare in Love.
I was going to say, as a big Shakespeare guy,
Yeah.
does Shakespeare in Love do it for you?
No, it
No,
doesn't.
doesn't do it
Which
for
is
me either.
annoying because it's got the recipe for a wonderful William film.
Yeah, it does nothing for me either. Get rid of Shakespeare. This is the first time I think we've swapped. The movie that we've kicked actually wins. Oh, that. Hello, Harvey. Yes, no, this was one of his first big campaigns because everybody thought it was going to be a Saving Private Ryan sweep. But no.
I've heard a lot. I've not watched Saving Private Ryan, but I've heard so much about it.
It is great. It is great. I think it does go a bit downhill after the first 10, 15 minutes. But
That's not a lot to say.
Yeah.
No,
No,
the rest of the
it's true. The rest of the film is terrible. It just, I don't think it's as good a film as Schindler's List, really. I think Spielberg deserved the Oscar more for Schindler's List than he did this. Which leads us to, are we giving Peter Weir, Australian filmmaker, Witness, Dead Poets Society, Master and Commander, really underrated director, really. He's knocked out so many great films, and he's one of those that sort of fades into the back. Can we see a Best Director win for Peter Weir?
I can, if we're going to give Best Picture to Spielberg.
Ooh, I like that. I prefer that, Will. Very good. Saving Private Ryan for Best Picture, Truman Show, Best Director. Very good.
Yeah, it's a very good idea, actually.
Let's have a look at
Obviously,
these.
Saving Private Ryan doesn't get one of those two.
Let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at these these acting nominations. So, as I've mentioned, Ed is the only nomination. Deserved, and James Coburn, Affliction. It's one of those, let them finally get their Oscar awards. Unfortunately, any other year, I think he'd win it maybe, or at least have a better shout. Are we putting Carrey in for Best Actor?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think he's very good.
He's better than Roberto Benigni. Again, this is an odd year that we are maybe kicking the winner of Best Actor as well. Life is Beautiful just does nothing for me. I just think it's very hammy. It just does nothing for me really. Gwyneth, no. We're gonna put Laura Linney in Best Supporting Actress. But who are we getting rid of? So Judy wins for Shakespeare in Love.
We do love Judy.
Oh, we love Judy, but she's not as good as Brenda Blethyn in Little Voice.
You're not taking the Oscar away from Judi Dench. I'm sorry, Tom.
It's a crime.
No, I'm sorry. I'm giving it to Brenda Blethyn. I'm giving it to Brenda Blethyn for Little Voice. I'm sorry. I'm giving it to Brenda Blethyn for Little Voice. And when we do Little Voice, we'll all go, okay. If you're like, yeah, I shouldn't have fighted.
But it's a bit late now. I don't think Judy's going to be willing to relinquish it.
I'll give her a call. So the other nomination that Truman Show gets is for its screenplay, which, I mean, there's just
definitely
no
definitely
debate
should
this
have won.
time.
That's the big winner. That's the big winner. That's the one that
Yeah.
if it was going to win an award. What it should
Yes, and it loses to Shakespeare in fucking Love. Bloody hell. Just nothing to do with the Truman Show. Just one that I disagree with. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing is far better than When You Believe.
I'm sure Nathan will back me up here as two avid Prince of Egypt fans.
The Prince of Egypt is insane. I saw it in London as well before lockdown, and it's.
But is it as good as? I could stay awake, feeling your heart.
I think you just exhibited why it's better. But The Prince of Egypt is a very underrated film as well, actually.
Actually, no, I agree with that. Good bit of Steve Martin.
Yeah, it's a very good film. It's a very good stage show as well.
Good bit of Michelle Pfeiffer. Any bit
Yeah,
of Michelle's Pfeiffer.
and Ralph Fiennes singing as well.
Yeah.
Rafe Fiennes.
Oh, yes, Rafe. When are we doing The English Patient?
We're doing Truman Show. We're
She
doing
died
Truman Show.
because I had the wrong man.
That's Red Dragon.
Ralph Fiennes does have some great lispy talking. In Red Dragon, it's just because he's got like a, what is it? It's like a dodgy interned tooth, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then in English Patient, it's because he's been fully burned in a plane crash. And he's telling the story of how he fell in love with Kristen Scott Thomas. You'd love English Patient, Becky. It's this beautiful, sweeping romance. However, lots of people who I've shown it to aren't fans of it because Colin Firth is the cuckold. And they're like, why would you cheat on Colin Firth? But it's like Colin Firth's first role. Like, my ex had a big Colin Firth thing. So even though she enjoyed the film, she was a bit like, wait, no, why is Colin Firth? You know, in like cheating movies, and like there's the cuckold character, and usually they're like like they hit them or they're not great husbands or whatever. That's Colin Firth, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, why is Colin Firth?
Is he a nice guy in the film?
I'm not going to give anything away. Let's just say he learns certain things and becomes a very, very bad man. But Ralph Fiennes and Kristen Scott Thomas, oh my God, so electric. Jesus Christ. Some of those scenes, spoilers, but there's a scene, it's not really a spoiler, but there's a scene where they're having it off in the back of like a dinner hall, and the choir are all singing Silent Night, and they're having to be quiet, and they're just like going at it, and like she's going, and she's biting her dress. It is one of the most erotic scenes. I sound like old Rose in Titanic. It was the most erotic moment of my life. I can still smell the fresh paint. I'm sorry I didn't build you a better ship, Rose. Oh, we'll just do Titanic now again. Will, stop me with your favourite building on set.
It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
I have a running joke where, and I know that it completely goes against the message of the film, but how long does it take for Truman to ask Christoph if he can come back? How long does it take for him to realise that the real world is hell and that Sea Haven is pretty great, even if he has no autonomy? What about that for alternate ending corner? A really, really dark
or a sequel.
ending. Yeah.
Where he goes out, realizes all the bad things in the world, and goes, actually, and then it ends with him being like, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Sorry, say that again?
I can't.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What is it? Good morning, and if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
That's it.
Good morning, hello, good afternoon. You're right, Will, it is an incredible set. Best single minute. We're going to go in reverse. So, Nathan? I can't remember. Nathan, give me some best single minute.
Yeah, sorry, what?
Best
the staircase bit. Yeah.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Talking with Christoph. Just an incredible scene, really.
Staircase bit at the end.
Just Christoph's voice coming like God, and them talking together. It's great stuff. That's what
they must have some mega speakers for his voice to be like echoing around the set.
Well, Truman goes, ha! Because it would be frightening. Truman!
But why would they even if they never planned on him speaking to Truman, why would they even put those speakers on set?
No, because that'll be for like the fake bird sounds and stuff.
I guess so.
Say something, goddammit! You're on television.
You're live to the whole world.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah.
There we go. Any other nominations, Nathan, before we shoot over to Mrs. Muggeridge?
The bit with the dad and the bridge, if no one said that already.
The pier.
Good.
The pier, incredible.
Dashboard cams. Was a good movie.
Dashboard cams, okay. Miss Muggeridge.
I really struggled to come up with best single minute on this one, just because I liked stretches of it, but there was no one particular minute that stood out to me. I'd agree with things like, on the pier when he's sort of talking to his friend, and then sort of when he sees his dad. But like, compared to other films, there was no one specific minute where I was like, wow, this is it. This has got it.
This has been a prevalent theme with you coming on the show, is you saying, I want to watch these movies because you remember them being good, and then you come on and you rewatch them and you go, actually, I don't think I like this movie as much as I remember.
No, I still really like this film. I'd happily watch it loads of times. It's just not a very, like compared to, what was my last one? I think my last
You're
one
on
was
Inglourious
Tarantino.
Bastards.
Yeah, like, that just has so many individual things. I can pick out good lines, good single minutes, good stretches, good chapters, good characters. And Truman Show, like, the whole thing is really good, but individually picking out bits is quite hard. Maybe I just watch it and I'm like, I watch it for the whole film rather than specific moments.
Well, here are some great single minutes. The town square where he's realizing, dun, 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 and he stops the cars.
Yeah.
He's God. He feels like he's God. It's got a bit of a Groundhog Day vibe to it. I don't know if anybody else has seen Groundhog Day other than you and Will, but that sort of I am God sort of realization. The hospital, one of my favorite. I used to love this scene as a kid. Just hilarious. The scalpel, please. And then they cut the actor and they're like, back down.
Yeah.
Just great comedy. My favorite. Well, no, I'll do the other ones then. The pier talk, and there's a little sleep montage where everybody watches him sleep, and Christoph touches his face. It's beautiful, just beautiful, and the music's swelling. It's beautiful stuff. But one of my favorite scenes ever, I think, with some of my favorite acting ever from Laura Linney and Jim Carrey, is the kitchen scene. You know, there's so many options. What are you going to do? You're going to slice me? You're going to dice me? You're going to cut me? Somebody help! Just that incredible moment. And then, how am I supposed to work under these conditions? It's not professional. But specifically, I've tried other copies. They're just not as good. Wonderful stuff. Give her an award. Give her an award. Will, any other nominations for single minute?
I'll throw in the when he fakes himself sleeping and escapes that little search. That's very good.
Yeah,
but I think ultimately,
keep it light.
Ultimately, I think possibly my favourite scene. I really love when he tries to book a holiday to Fiji, and she just doesn't know how to use the computer. It's great.
And the bus is good as well.
Yeah.
Where he stays on the bus. Yeah, just great stuff. Let's go to best line. We're going to go round robin. It's Becky, it's Tom, it's Nathan, it's Will. It's Becky, it's Tom, it's Nathan, it's Will. Becky!
Someone can clear that up later from the the surgery scene.
Somebody help me, I'm being spontaneous.
I mean, just to say the obvious one to begin with, good morning, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Well, kick us off.
There's nothing real. You were real. That's what made you so good to watch. Oh.
The basic gist of reality TV in the modern era. Becky?
Cue the sun.
Yes, great choice. For God's sake, Chris, the whole world is watching. We can't let him die in front of a live studio audience. He was born in front of a live audience.
Somebody help me, I'm being spontaneous.
Well,
I've got no more.
Becky?
We're going to be accessing the weather program.
Okay. Good line, yeah. No,
Becky's
I just
favourite
like the
line.
ones where it's
Yes,
to do with
I
the
love
weather,
that.
like weather on now.
Stuck here for hours. It could be like this all the way to Atlantic City. Let's go back. I'm sorry, I don't know what got into me. Truman, can you slow down? Yes, I can. Truman, that's our turn up. I changed my mind. What's New Orleans like this time of year? Mardi Gras. Woo! Merrill, same road, no cars. It's magic. It's great gems in that car ride too. Nathan, you got one?
What else is on?
Yeah.
In the end.
As Truman grew up, we were forced to manufacture ways to keep him on the island. I'd like to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan. Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
You missed me out.
Then go.
He's gonna drown and he doesn't even care. I know we've already said it, but
Beautiful.
just a classic.
Beautiful. How can you expect me to carry under these conditions? It's unprofessional.
What's that one he says on the boat into the camera? Like, just kill me. What's that one?
You're going to have to do better than that. It doesn't say just kill me. You're going to have to do better than that. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? I've tasted other cocos. This is the best. Nathan, do you have any left?
Look at that sunset, Truman. It's perfect. Yeah, that's the big guy. Quite a paintbrush he's got.
Becky?
Everything from me.
Nathan?
That's me all out.
Which leads us into a more pessimistic part of our show. What's the change? Becky, you seem to be rather... Becky, you seem to be negging this movie as pick-up artists. As a man who has now read multiple articles about how to... Oh, Becky, you just posted a video 9 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was scheduled.
A cover of Clouds by Siva, or Siva by Clouds. I have no idea. Both of those.
Clouds by Siva.
Yeah, they sound like fake names. Everybody go listen
It's
to...
my friend's song, so...
Ah! Clouds, what a funny name. No, everybody go listen to Becky's wonderful music channel. It's called what, Becky? Just Becky Muggeridge, isn't it?
Just Becky Muggeridge.
Becky Muggeridge.
Without the just.
Will, what's the airplane? We're all in this all together.
All
That's
together.
High School Musical, yeah. We're in this together.
It's a completely different type of flying altogether.
It's a completely different type of flying. Incredible.
That's great.
When are we doing the High School Musicals? My sister has said if she...
Will's not seen High School Musical. We have to do this.
We're going to have to bust his virginity. Well, my sister has said they're the only movies that she'd come on for. But I very much think that if I ever scheduled them, she'd go, no way in hell. It's lunchtime, my dudes. One of my favourite quotes of all time, really. Becky, what are your changes, if any?
It's just one, and it's just that the pacing is sometimes a little bit slow. And so, like, there's two examples of this. Okay. There's when they're interviewing Christoph, and it's just like, I feel like it could be done more concisely, but have the same content within it. Because I was kind of sat there like, oh, now I want to just pick up my phone and scroll on social media for a bit. Like, I knew what the point of that interview was from the beginning of it, and I don't know, I just got a bit bored through that. And then the second is just it's having watched it with someone who was watching it for their first time. It reminded me of when I first watched it. The first part of the film, I know it's done kind of artistically to make you like gradually realize that he's in a TV show a bit like he realizes, but it's very confusing for the first time watcher for the first like 45 minutes of a film or so. And can come across as quite slow. Like you're kind of watching it like, great, this guy's just going about his normal life. Like, what? Why am I watching this film? Yeah, it's only on a rewatch that you're like, oh, this is clever because I know what's happening.
I guess it would be weird watching it in isolation. I think when I watched it, I just knew that I think it's just a very well-known premise. So your mother knew absolutely nothing?
I told her the general concept was this guy was his entire life was a TV show, but she just like me, because I'd been told that exact information. Like the first half of the film, you're just a bit like, what? Because you're like, oh, is this just part of the TV show, or is this like beforehand, or like it doesn't all click into place until he starts realizing, which is actually quite late into the film.
Well, I'll bring this up now because I was going to have it in Tom's big question, but I'll bring it up now. The original concept of the script was a lot darker, but we'll talk about that more in a few fun facts. The original concept of the script was that we didn't know as well. And so it was really, there was none of the opening interviews, there was none of the cutaways. It was more like a Twilight Zone episode, like we're in this situation with this person, and then it was a twist, like halfway through. Do you think that would work better? I personally don't think that would work better. I think half of the majesty of the film is the construction of it.
I quite like that idea. I like films that do that, when you have to tell someone, do not look it up before you watch it, just watch it, and then halfway through they're like, oh my god.
But would it be then on rewatch a Shutter Island thing, where we did the Shutter Island episode and you two completely dislike Shutter Island, all the mystery stuff, because you know the mystery?
I think if it was done that way, based on what I've said, I think that it would need to go quicker. It would need to have more like interesting lines and concepts and things that happen that really engage the audience in that first segment of the film. Okay. Because if you don't know what it's about, then you just spend the first half of the film going, why are we just watching this guy like wake up, go to work, go home, sleep, do the same thing again? There's no actual interesting bits in it.
Okay. Any other changes, Becky?
That's it.
Will, any changes?
I do have one. Yeah, and it's always annoyed me. The moon.
It's big.
It's unrealistic for the sake of making it Ed Harris's big overseeing den.
Right.
And I think when it's lit up and it becomes the moon, it's noticeably not real.
Okay. But he doesn't know what the real moon looks like.
Yeah, this was my thought. I was like, it's not accurate, but it's also, would he actually know that it was supposed to be different? So.
He accepts the reality that we've been given. In the words of Christophe. Anything else, Will?
No, that's it from me.
I think Carrey gets a little bit too wacky in the car ride. It goes a bit too far for me, really. I know I said it in Best Line, but some of the Mardi Gras stuff when he's like, it's a bit too wacky, and it really doesn't fit the character of Truman that we've come to know. And also the inherent problem with the film, is this the first time that things have ever gone wrong? And if it is the first time things have ever gone wrong, a lot of things are going wrong in 1 week. The light, the rain, the changing of the frequency. That's just the inherent problem with the film. But you get over it because you need those. That is the inherent. As I always say, a film is allowed one coincidence. This has a few coincidences, but I'll allow it this time.
Well, you could fix that by just like having more, I don't know, just the flashback scenes, or him as a child, sort of there being one thing where he was like, oh, that seems a bit odd, but then going, oh, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
And just
that's why I like that Christophe interview scene. That's why I really like that we spend so much time there, because we get those, this isn't the first time that somebody's tried to break in, and we get the parachute guy, and we get the Christmas present guy. That's why I really like how much time we spend there. But that I guess that's just me. What's left from Will's notes, if anything?
Nothing.
What's left from Tom's notes? Holland Taylor, what a woman. Just doing some incredible acting as his mother. Well, you know, you always were a quiet child. She's really going through this. Do you think it wins Emmys, The Truman Show? Think it can win awards?
I mean,
reality
if it's
shows
as big
win
as
awards.
it seemed, then probably, yeah. But then it seems a bit weird because the award should really go to Truman, but obviously he can never know that he's won an award.
What, they give him like a mini fake award?
No.
For something else. Nathan, you had some technical difficulties, but you are back now. Have you got any changes for the film?
I don't think so. That's not to say it's necessarily a perfect film, but I'm not sure personally what changes I would make to it.
Well, then let's dive straight into a few fun facts. Ed Harris and Jim Carrey never met during filming.
Interesting.
In an early scene, a bottle of vitamin D is on Truman and Meryl's kitchen table, needed for those without exposure to the real sun. These lovely, incredible little details. The film is studied in media ethics courses, particularly focusing on the characters of creator Christoph, best friend Marlon, and the prostituting of Truman's wife. Tom's big question. Sex-wise, this may get dark. Do they have sex often? Is she into it? Is it a job?
There's a lot of things
prostitution?
that you do wonder, like, were they filmed? Because there's intimate moments in life. Surely they're not on film.
They do
or they're
say,
on after like 9 p.m. or something.
Well, no, they say, don't they? The two guards, they say they never show it. It just, you know, cuts to a window and they fade to black and they play some piano. That's what the guards say. So we never see the sex, the audience, but they've got to have a camera on him in the moon room. Got to have at least have one. There's got to be one person.
Giamatti, what a very naughty man.
I am the rhino.
But then the actress must be like, oh, this is all part of my job and aware that.
Well, she says, you know, my job, this is my life. In the interview, you know, my life is Truman. My life is Meryl. So, does she actually love him? Is it all a job?
I expect a lot of the actors had like feelings for him.
Yeah. Well, Sylvia. People on the set were forbidden from uttering phrases from Jim Carrey's past silly movies. A scene in... Okay, so there's a lot of these original script ideas. So basically, it was very dark. And it was New York. It was this... They rebuilt New York. Basically, the way that Peter Weir describes it is it was a very dark drama. And it was very futuristic and sci-fi. And he wanted to make it real. And so all of his movements were to make it lighter and realer. So a scene in the original script depicts a staged rape scene witnessed by Truman, who doesn't go to help the actress about to be violated and just moves on. When he's gone, the actors and actress return to normal and express wonder at how he didn't try to help or even do anything about it. A little bit dark.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah, no, that would not have gone down well on film.
No, not in this film. I can see a very dark version of this film that does go into these dark moments that I could see working, but not this, not the Truman Show we have today. Yes, Nathan.
I also don't see Truman as a character ignoring it either.
Yes, true. A deleted scene reveals that had Truman not realized what was going on, Christoph and network execs were going to broadcast the main show and its spin-off show on a 2-channel format, the main show following Truman and the spin-off following his unborn child, repeating the cycle all over again. Several deleted scenes make it clear that Louis truly does care, Marlon truly does care about Truman, and gives him a moment of redemption where he finds him during the search and lets him go. I like that.
I like that too.
It wouldn't work for your pacing problems, Becky, and arguably, but I do think we need it. I think we need.
I don't think the end has pacing problems though. I think it.
No, I mean adding these scenes throughout.
Yeah, I think something like that would be fine there.
Yeah. I think we need at least one person who's conflict. I mean, we have Sylvia, we have Lauren, obviously, but somebody who's still there with conflict, I think would make it a bit more of a dense piece. Here's some more stuff from the original Dark script. The city was not a utopian society, but and there were staged criminal incidents. Truman had a drinking problem. It is stated clearly that Truman makes love to his wife, whose real name is Hannah. Christoph's intention was for Truman to have Meryl impregnated and the child would carry on the show. There were more clues that helped Truman realize the truth. The scene where Truman confronts Meryl was far more aggressive. Finally, and most importantly, after Truman passes the door, he meets Christoph and the main cast members on a rooftop. While in the film, the story ends with an exiting the fairy world. In the encounter on the rooftop, which was in the script, the actors stare at him sheepishly. But Truman, in his rage, attacks Christoph and tries to strangle him, but the rest of the actors hold him back. He is finally reunited with Sylvia. No. No, this is a movie. It's just a different movie. It's just a different movie. I think that movie could work. I can see a very dark version of this movie, but I like a happy Truman. I like a positive Truman. Tom's big question. We've hit them up, but we haven't hit up this.
I've got a small fun fact.
Oh shoot!
That I forgot until I looked at my notes again, because you did kind of bring it up earlier. The person who plays Sylvia / Lauren, she's actually from Walton-on-Thames, which is near me, and it's where I used to do rowing.
Oh, Natasha
That's a fun little fact.
Indeed. Let's get depressing. What's Truman's life like after this? Does it work with Sylvia? How can it work with Sylvia?
I think he becomes like a Michael Parkinson figure, and he starts hosting a talk show and becomes in the public eye like that.
Oh no, I think
he would retreat.
Literally retreats.
I don't think he could get out of the public eye though.
He could buy his way out.
It's like, because you could see, because also whether it's like the production company actually kind of help him integrate, or whether he just goes, no, screw you guys, I'm off, walks out into public, and then everyone like swarms him like a celebrity, and then it's his like getting used to real life, seeing crime, being swarmed as a celebrity. I think
he just sells the movie rights, maybe writes a book, and then takes all that money and just buys a goddamn cabin. Maybe Sylvia's with him, maybe not. I don't know how that relationship works. They had one hot night, not hot even, beautiful, lovely, romantic night.
I don't even know if she truly loves him, or whether it's more just she's sad that he's stuck in this world.
Oh yeah, I think
that's why she was
morally,
trying to help him.
Yeah,
I think she'd become more of a friend.
Oh, but he. See, this is literally the ending of Castaway. He's gotten through 4 years on that fucking island, thinking that he's got Helen Hunt waiting for him, and then she's married to the fucking dentist with 2 kids. Helen Hunt, has this come up on the show before? How long did Helen Hunt wait? He's on the island for 4 years. When we see Helen Hunt, she's married with a kid. The kid is at least 2. This means that she gave it less than a year before giving up on Tom Hanks. And poor Tom Hanks is on the goddamn island. Poor Tom Hanks.
These things happen. If someone goes missing, you got to kind of get on with normal life after a certain period of time. Unfortunately.
Just what is that dentist, doing now? It's just like, so, the kid,
Plot twist. He was the one who organised the plane crash, so he could get with Helen.
Well, he says, doesn't he, when he's having to bust his tooth out with the ice skate? He says, "I have a dentist on the mainland named Roger. I wish he was here now. He always overcharged me." And then when he meets him, he's like, "You probably don't remember me. I'm your dentist." And he goes, "I remember you."
Castaway is pretty much Tropical Ghost, and Whoopi Goldberg is Wilson.
Yeah. No, but Demi Moore at least Demi Moore doesn't actually want to get with the best friend who killed Sam. Poor Sam. Oda Mae Brown. Brown. Oh God. What a Ghost. What a film. What do we do with Patrick Swayze week? Dirty Dancing, Ghost, Point Break, Roadhouse.
Keeping Mum. I love Keeping Mum.
I'm not surprised. Nathan, do you have any final thoughts on Peter Weir's seminal film, The Truman Show?
I don't think so. I think it just has to be one of those ones that has to be watched, isn't it? It's conceptually a very good film.
It is, indeed. Becky?
I agree. It is a classic film that everyone should watch, and it's a very good film. It's an enjoyable watch. Just an overall good film.
Is there anybody else? Will, have you got any final thoughts on
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. I'm going to say this now. Becky's wrong. Becky's wrong. I don't know how to mute you. Oh, mute. Right. Becky's wrong. This film doesn't have pacing problems at all. This film flies by. Everybody go watch The Truman Show. If you haven't seen The Truman Show, watch The Truman Show. If you have seen it before, rewatch it. You will love it. Will, any final thoughts on The Truman Show? No. Becky, despite that unmuting and despite some of your opinions, it's been a pleasure having you, Becky. I don't know when you're on next. Let's have a quick gander.
500 Days of Summer?
Yes, that sounds about right. That sounds... yes, 500 Days of Summer, after we finish Peep Show. Finally, thank God. That's done with a big bumper episode. It's already been recorded, you lucky people. A very big, long mini episode.
like every other episode.
No, they're moderately sized. This one's a bumper. Yes, 500 Days of Summer. Nathan, you will be joining us. Grand Budapest Hotel. Some Wes Anderson. Some starring your good friend Ralph.
Yes. Yeah, good Ralphie.
And Will, you will be there for Pete's show, putting me through a torturous endeavour. This wasn't torturous, but it wasn't great. It's been a pleasure. I've been Thomas Carruthers.
I've been Will Leggetter.
And this has been The Truman Show. And if we don't... Oh my God, how did we not do this? Right. Becky says the first line. I say the next line. Will, then Nathan. Go.
Can we clarify what it was again?
So you're going to say, good morning.
Good morning.
And if I don't see you...
Good morning.
No, oh, Becky.
Ah!
Right. Oh, no. Becky needs to say, good morning. And if I don't see you, go on. Go.
Good morning. And if I don't see you...
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
And good night.
Thank you very much.
Da ba da ba da ba da da.